Boy, tell you. Oh, it's K1BZ. Clydo here again. On my radio here. Let me turn this thing down a little bit. Yeah, I'll turn this down too. Gee, had a hell of a night. Hang on a second. I'm going to do one more CQ. I don't know if anybody's going to come back to that or not. I gotta go up here and put my decoder up here and get this here working. Oh, yeah, this is a typical night in my radio station here, my ham radio station here at the hotel. Let's see, I got a computer program here, and it goes to a remote base over Shrewsbury, Vermont. I use the K1VL site over there, Cameron's place. It's good operation, good remote base. I'd like to have my own, but I can't seem to, well, I got one more option. I'm looking for another place. Anybody ever seen my stuff I got here? I turn my camera around here so you can see everything. I don't know. I can't really see what the hell my camera's looking at. But this is all my stuff here. These are what they call telegraph keys. This one right here. This is a bug. This is a speed key. This is one I use. I use this quite a bit here. This is another one I just use here. This is SWRs2. Ain't bad. And here's that program I was telling you about. It's got the Morse code decoder. And it shows my signal right there from the remote base. And see right there? See, there it is right there. There's my signal right there. Yeah. It's coming back to me through the internet. Oh, so anyways. So I just been screwing around here a little bit tonight before I hit the hay. Yeah, I've been doing this radio thing for since 1963. You know, I started back when I was in grade school. I was in the let's see, what grade was I in back then? I think it was in the 4th grade, 1963. And yeah, it was. Yeah, 1963. I was in the 4th grade. And I built my own equipment. And you couldn't buy anything back then, those days. You had to build your own stuff. I mean, there was a lot of commercial stuff available, but it's so high priced, I couldn't afford it back then. So I took old TVs apart and took all the parts out of them, and I looked at a magazine or something and textbook and see what all the parts were supposed to be for a transmitter. So I had what they called breadboards. They were like a perforated board, had holes in them, and you just put all your parts in where it's supposed to go, hook the wires together underneath. The main parts would be on top and all the wiring would be on the bottom. And you just solder the wires from one place to another. You know, and then And if they had tubes, had the tube sockets and wire them in, and put your main transformer in there to change your AC to DC, and then run your power to all your tubes there. The tubes all ran on a 6.3 alternating current filament voltage, and that was to power up the tubes. And some of them also had what they call a heater. They run on 6.3 volts off the filament. And in your tubes there's different parts of the tubes there. It was called the plate, was on the top of the tube. And then the grid was on the side of the tubes. That's what probably information went inside. And you had your cathode. The cathode is what put the juice into the tube and goes through the different parts for audio amplification or buffer circuit or filter circuit. So I put all these parts together, and I built this on a breadboard. I built this 15 watt CW transmitter, and then I had a receiver. The receiver was a shortwave silver tone Sears and Roebuck receiver, but it was AM amplitude modulation only. But I want to try to decode the CW and the sideband. So what I had to do is I had to build a what they call a demodulating filter, or what they call a crystal lattice filter, which would filter out one side of your sideband then and cut out part of the AM frequency. And the AM signal, I'll show you here on a piece of paper here. This is see, it'd be a big envelope, and comes down here like this, and the center frequency is here, and this is your upper sideband, and lower, and your carrier would be right here. This is your carrier is right there. That's why your audio is superimposed on the frequency band. See, there it is right there. See? So your AMs, this is your AM signal. You have your lower sideband, your upper sideband. So it's what they call double sideband, AM. And that's your carrier right there. And so what I had to do to have a Morse code signal, I had to take one of these sidebands away. So the filter only takes part of the sideband. So the envelope's a lot narrower. And there's no carrier. It has it's called a single sideband suppressed carrier. So you wouldn't have any carrier there. It would be suppressed down to like about 2%. So you could just barely hear it in there. But that's where the CW signal is. And so I built that. I got that receiver built, the power supply. Here's the funny thing, I built all this equipment, and I had this a Transmatch tuner consisting of two big tunable capacitors with an induction coil in the middle, and I had little taps on the coil for the different frequency bands I was going to operate on. Well, people on Main Street in Fairleigh used to bitch like hell. I was running about I think around 30 watts or so, because I found out there's a couple of tubes there would boost the power up a little bit more. So I put a little more voltage in the off one of the taps on the transformer, and ran a direct line to the plates of the tube there to get the power up. So, but the tubes wouldn't handle it, so I had to get a pair of what the hell were they? Oh shit, what the hell were they? I think they're 4-58. Yeah, 4-58s. Then the 6146s came later. But this was the first ones that came out. The 4-4. The 4-100s. That's what they were. 4-100s. They weren't 50. They didn't make them that small. So it was like a 100-watt tube. But I had a pair of them. So I cut the power back from 200 watts down to 50 watts. But it's still enough power to knock out everybody's TV up and down Main Street. Oh, fuck. I was knocking out everybody's TV up Main Street. Oh, people call my house. Hey, what the hell's all that goddamn noise there? Is your son on his radio again? He's trying to watch TV. And I'd answer the phone. You bother my TV. I said, well, go to channel 6 and hang up on him. I did it a few times there. And this, it was about 6 months later. It was in the summertime. And the two FCC, Federal Communication Commission agents. I mean, there was one from Portland, Maine, and they had another station over in Albany, and then they had another station down in just outside of Boston. So they're crisscrossing their signals to see where the hell I was, and they figured it was somewhere in Fairleigh. So they had a direction finder looking for me, and they pinpointed it was at my parents' house. So they came to the house. They knocked on the door. My mother answered the door. Says, we're from the Federal Communications Commission. We're here to inspect a radio transmitter that's operating out of this residence. Do you have a person running a radio transmitter here of some kind? And she said, well, I think that's my son. He's got a radio up in his bedroom. Oh yes, okay. What kind of radio? Well, she says, I'm not sure. I think it's a ham radio or something. I'm not really sure what that is. I said, oh, okay. Well, says you go up the stairs there, and take a left, and another left, go down the hallway, and take your first right, and he's right there. And I said, oh, okay. So they come up. I'm in my room there. I get on there, and Morse code, And I'm like 9 years old, and next thing you know, there was a knock at the door. I opened the door up, and this two guys, I'm like waist high. They said, excuse me, is the radio operator here? I looked up and I said, yeah, that'd be me. The guys looked down and says, you? Who are you? I said, oh, I'm the radio operator. Oh yeah, so what's your call sign? I says, WN1 SFG. They go, oh, okay. And they walked in there, and there was a tenant couple was up here. The transmitter was right here. And then I had the receiver right here. And then power supplies on the wall. A big 6-foot rack. And they're looking at all of it. They says, Jesus, did you build that? And I said, yeah. You built that? Really? Yeah. Want to see all the parts? Yeah. I showed them all the wiring and everything. Said, holy shit, boy, that's a good job. Boy, you did a great job there. I said, where'd you get the plans for that? And I said, oh, it's a magazine. It's called Popular Electronics. They don't make it anymore. It's discontinued quite a few years ago. So I opened it up. It was the April issue of Popular Electronics. Opened right up to the amateur radio part there. It says, I can't remember what the article was, but anyways, it showed a picture of a transmitter and a receiver that you could build from TV parts. That's just what I did. And they're looking at it all over, and they said, holy shit, that's a good job. And they, what we're here for is you're bothering TVs up and down Main Street here. Do you know that? I go, yeah, I knew that. Of course I knew that. The hell you think? Think I'm stupid? Assholes. So, 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 they, so I, so they, well, you know, you gotta have a low pass filter. I go, yeah, I know. Well, why didn't you build one? I said, I haven't had time. Well, let's build one now. Okay, so got the parts together. And so we hooked it all up. And so I said, hey, Ma, you want to turn the TV on? Turn channel 6, would you? So she turned channel 6. I pressed the key down. Got anything? No? Okay. Well, let's go to channel 8. Press the key down. Nothing. Hey, let's go to channel 2. Turn on channel 2. Channel 2, just hit the key. Just barely see something. So I say, okay, fine, okay. So they're getting ready to leave. They said, well, Mr. Blake, you don't have to call me Mr. Call me Clyde. He said, oh, okay, Clyde. When you get to be 18 years old, come and see us. We'll give you a job. Said, okay, sounds good to me. So I said, pleased to meet you there. So I'm listening to these guys. They're walking down the stairs. I said, boy, God, he said, 9 years old, built all that equipment. Man, he's a smart son of a bitch. Boy, smarter than we are, you know. Holy shit. That's the best wiring I've ever seen in my entire life. The kid knows what he's doing, you know. So, boy, I guess so, yeah. And so then he says, and I heard him holler back and say, hey, where's your antenna anyways? Oh, it's outside. So I went outside. And I said, yeah, ladder line up there comes out, and it's got that wire there. That goes over to that elm tree. See that? And then you see, and that goes to ground. And then other leg comes up there. That goes way out. Goes right out there by the school. And there's an old telephone line out there. An abandoned telephone line. I hooked it right to that. And they said, hooked right to that? I said, yeah. I said, what's your antenna wire size? Well, my antenna wire size, it's number 6 copper. They said, number 6 copper? What the hell you run as heavy as that? That's all I had, you know. What the hell? What am I supposed to use? Oh, he said, you could probably use number 16 or 16 or 14. I said, oh, hell, that's too weak. Ain't gonna work around here. So, well, you'd be surprised. I said, well, yeah, let me use this for the time being. And I said, number 6, that'll help. I looked up the book. I said, that'll handle like 10, 15 kilowatts. And they looked at me and said, oh, you ain't gonna build anything that big, right? Oh, hell no. Hell no. I ain't got the money for all that shit. So they said, well, where's that antenna? Where's it? Does it end anywhere? I said, sure it does. I said, see that row of trees down there? It goes down there by the school. Down there where McDouglas lives down there. See his house down there? It ends right down, just shy of his garage in that pine tree. See that? Yeah. Well, how many feet is it? I said, oh, I don't know. It's about 700 feet, I think. 700 feet or something like that. I said, just a long wire is what it is. Well, it's an end-fed long wire, sort of it is. And he looked it all over and he said, that's impressive. Well, the gain on that ought to be something. And, back then, we only had 3 bands. Crystal Control, we couldn't really talk very far with it. I couldn't. The antenna was so long, it really wouldn't work on 15 meters. It'd work on 80 and 40 meter CW. I liked 80 meter CW back then. That was great. That was a great band. But anyways, that's my story. Some of the people I've talked to up and down the area here around Fairleigh, they've seen my podcasts and my little videos here that I record here from my room, and they all like it, so I appreciate that. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go watch TV and send a couple more CQs on the radio here. See what I'm on right now. So I'm listening to 7.0 31.00, and I'm listening on my computer, a remote base over in Shrewsbury. I can hear a little bit on here, but I've got an S9 noise level, so I might hear somebody locally here and I might not, but chances are I hear them on the remote base. Anyways, have a good one, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye. No, that didn't work. How the hell did I shut this thing off before?